Dear children, we all have studied the events of your February 1848 which took place in the France and how it has brought the end of your monarchy and the France became a republic based on the universal male suffrage. And children, you all would be remembering that this revolution or the February Revolution of 1848, which took place in the France, it was led by your workers and the peasants there. And why? Because of the shortage of the food and also the lack of employment. But today we are going to discuss about the next heading. This is the 1848, the revolution of the liberals. So as that was also the revolution which was started in 1848 in the France, and today we are going to discuss about the liberals, how they led the revolution. So children, as you know very well that in the other parts of Europe where the independent nation states, they were not created or they were not having any existence. For example, your Germany, Italy, Poland, the Austro-Hungarian Empire, in all these regions, in all these places, the men and the women of the liberal middle classes, they all combined their demands for the constitution with the national unification. And these liberal middle classes people, they took the advantage of the growing popular unrest, and they had also put up their demands for the creation of a nation state. What kind of a nation state? Which should be based on the parliamentary principles. And what were the parliamentary principles? That they should have a constitution, there should be a freedom of the press, and also the freedom of association. Today, children, we are going to study that how the revolution began in 1848 in the Germany or the German regions there. As children, if you remember that in the German region, which was basically a confederation of your 39 states, which was set up by your Napoleon Bonaparte. So in these German regions there, a large number of the political associations which were basically comprised of your middle class professionals, businessmen, your prosperous artisans, they all came together in the city of your Frankfurt. And then they planned that they will be voting for an all German National Assembly. Ultimately, what happened on 18th May 1848? They had elected 831 representatives, and these 831 elected representatives, they had started marching in a very festive procession to take their places in the Frankfurt Parliament, which was organized at that time in the church of in a church of your Saint Paul. Now these people or these representatives, now they had drafted the constitution for the German nation, and they wanted that Germany should be also governed through the constitutional monarchy. And because of that only, what these people they did here, or these deputies of all German National Assembly, what they did, that they offered the crown to the Friedrich Wilhelm IV, who was the king of Prussia. So these deputies of your all German National Assembly, they had offered the crown on their own terms and condition to the king of Prussia, that is your Friedrich Wilhelm IV. But the king of Prussia, he rejected this offer. And what he did on the other hand side, that he joined the hands with the other rulers, with the other monarchies there, simply to oppose to this elected assembly. Now at this time, the opposition of the aristocracy and the military also became strong, and the social basis of your parliament, it was totally eroded. Now the parliament, basically this parliament was dominated by your middle classes people there, and these middle classes people, they simply opposed the demands of your workers and the artisans there. And because of that only, slowly gradually, this parliament, it has lost the support of the your workers and artisans. Later on, the troops were called in the end, and then the assembly was forced to disband. So this way, the people of your German region, they had tried on their level best that how to create a nation, how to unite all the 39 regions of the Germany, and they wanted to set up the constitutional monarchy under the leadership of your Friedrich Wilhelm IV, which he had denied. Now, other hand side, we see the condition of the women, and women also in the rest part of the Europe, they were also struggling for their own rights there. And the women, they had already demanded for the right to vote. Basically, a large number of the women, they had also participated in the liberal and the national movements in the European countries there. And these women, they had formed their own political associations, they had set up their own newspapers, and they had also taken the part in the political meetings and the demonstrations there. But they were not allowed to have the right to vote, as they were struggling for the right to vote, but still they were not allowed to have the right to vote there. And finally, when the Frankfurt Parliament convened in the Church of St. Paul there, that time the women were admitted only as an observer to stand in the visitors gallery there. So this way, women, they were also struggling for their own rights. They wanted to have a right to vote there. Now, when all these things or these happenings took place in the year of 1848, your conservative people, they understood one thing. Though the conservative people, they were in a position, or they had forcefully suppressed to all these liberal movements which took place in the 1848 there, but they had understood one thing, that it is not easy or not possible to restore the old order there, or the old system of your monarchy there. And these rulers, these monarchies or the kings, they had already understood that somewhere somehow some kind of the concessions has to be given to the liberal nationalist revolutionaries there. And what we see, that in the year after 1848, the autocratic monarchies in your central and the eastern Europe, that began to introduce the changes that had already taken place in your Western Europe before 1815 there. And your serfdom and the bonded labor, it was also abolished at the both the places, that is, Habsburg dominions, and also in your Russia. Habsburg, that very well, Habsburg rulers who were ruling over Austria Hungary there. So Habsburg rulers, they granted more autonomy to the Hungarians in 1867. So this way, the revolution, this was the second wave of a revolution of 1848, which was started in your Germany. Now the next heading which we have, this is the making of Germany and Italy. So in the same continuation, as the people of the German regions there, they wanted to unify their own regions there. They had taken initiative for the nation building process, how the Germany was formed. So as the heading is, Germany, can the army be the architect of a nation? So children, as we see that the nationalist sentiments, they were quite mobilized by the conservatives for promoting your state power, and also to achieve the political domination over the Europe there. Now then, how the Germany was unified? Children, as you have already read, that how the nationalist feelings were already developing in the middle classes Germans there, and they tried in 1848 only to unite the different regions of the German Confederation into a nation state, and which should be governed by a elected parliament. But this also I told you, that how the Prussian king had taken the help of the combined forces and also of the other monarchies there, and with the help of the military. Along with that also, a large number of the landowners, who are basically called popularly as the Junkers, in the Prussia, they all had taken the initiative to serve, just to suppress to the liberal people demand there. So nationalist feelings were badly crushed at that time. But now, later on, Prussia had taken the leadership for the movement for the unification of your Germany there. And the person who is basically known as the architect of your Germany, this is your Otto von Bismarck. So Otto von Bismarck, who was the chief minister, and he is basically known as the architect of the your Germany there. And what he did, that the Otto von Bismarck, he had taken the help of the Prussian army and the bureaucracy, and after that he had fought three important wars continuously for 7 years against your Austria, Denmark, and France. And finally, now the Prussian military had set up their victory over your Austria, Denmark, and the France there. And then after the defeat of these three different nations there, then the process of the unification was completed. And then in the month of January 1871, the Prussian king, who was your William I, Kaiser William I, he was proclaimed as the German emperor in the ceremony which was held in the Versailles. Now, in this ceremony, which took place in the palace of Versailles, there. Now, in this on 18th January 1871, this ceremony took place there, and in this assembly, that all the princes of your German states, your representatives of the army, your all the important Prussian ministers, everyone, including your Otto von Bismarck, who was the chief minister already, they all gathered in the hall of the mirror in the palace of Versailles. And there only, in a grand function, this Kaiser William I of the Prussia, who was the king of Prussia, he was declared as the king of the German empire there. So this way, the process of the unification of the Germany was completed by the efforts which were put by the chief minister, that is your Otto von Bismarck. Now, when the Germany was unified, after this we can find the that dominance of the Prussia on over the Germany, and in every aspect that we get that the new state placed a strong emphasis on modernizing the currency, banking, legal and the judicial system in the Germany. Everything was having an impact on the Prussian system of administration there. And the Prussian measures and practices often became a model for the rest of the Germany. So this way, the process of the unification of the Germany was completed in the year of 1871. Thank you.